Well, today is February 9th, and it's very warm. February, it's about 57. Overcast, and very windy. But I wanted to get out today. Today's the first time I've seen some of these hives since my back surgery in July. So I didn't have much hope for most of these colonies. But I'm going to turn the camera around, just kind of give you an idea of what I'm seeing. So obviously this colony's very healthy, very active, but you notice that I definitely have a rodent issue inside this hive. So it's going to have to be that way until spring, because I'm not going to break the seals on anything quite yet because winter is not over. But that colony seems to be doing good. I have not seen very many coming in with pollen, which I really didn't expect too much of that today anyway. But we'll get down here a couple hives and we'll show you what that hive's doing. Go to the next hive. You can see they cleaned out a lot of their dead. That's what they'll be doing on these nice days. They'll really be cleaning the hives up. So that one's still going, and that is just a single. That's just a single deep. This one, I don't know. I haven't seen a whole lot of activity, so I don't know if that nuke made it, or if these bees are just in there robbing out anything that's left. So that one is questionable. But this one, I'll go down here and try to block some of the wind. You'll see this colony is bringing back a lot of pollen. I'm assuming they're getting that from maple. Kind of what it looks like. But that's very active, and that's just a 5-frame nuke that's overwintered. And I'm going to say that this colony's still going. There's quite a few bees going in and out of there still. So I think that 5-frame, as of right now, is overwintered. But like I say, we got a ways to go in northern Indiana. But I'm pretty pleased to see activity in those colonies. So we will jump back in the Jeep and we'll head over to another yard and see how they're faring over there. All right, we're at the second yard, and I'm pretty pleased to see this. These boxes back in July, I just left those out here before I went in for my surgery, so I only had 3 colonies going. Very active. Very active and very active. Now, I didn't mention it at the other yard. So these bees, they have not been touched since July, and they've no feed. I left them just the supers that are on it. They were never fed other than the honey that they put back, and they have never been treated. None of these colonies have ever been treated. Since I made them out of the splits, I don't know. I think these colonies have been out here for, this might be going on my 4th season, I think, on this farm. And they've always been going. I've had to replace some queens, just because they were slowing down, but they've never been treated. I've always just let them do their own thing. Now this one doesn't have quite the activity those do, but that doesn't always mean anything. They could just be all packed up into this top super. Now, unlike the other yard, I have not seen anybody coming in with pollen yet. I either have a rodent in this one that's made a mess of this inner cover, or the bees have chewed up that inner cover. I don't know if I'll be able to get a good shot by sticking my camera under this hive, but I'm going to try. This colony is running a screen bottom board, and I don't close that off in the wintertime either. I started leaving those open probably 5 years ago, and I have had great success with just leaving them the same way I run them in the summer. I'm going to stick the camera under there and see if we can get a shot of that. So let me get repositioned here. You can see it's still open. You can see there's a lot of dead bees covering it. And they'll clean most of that out. I'll help them when it gets a little warmer, when I go through for my first full inspection. But you can see I left that just an open bottom, and so far they've made it through. They've made it through just fine. Bees are a whole lot tougher than what we give them credit for. That's just something I've learned over the years. I used to baby these things thinking I had to do everything for them, and man, I was wasting my time. I was wasting my money. I started letting them run more naturally, and I have had so much more success overwintering bees since I started doing that. So like today, I haven't ran across one dead out yet. But we're not done, so I mean there still could be. But let's go check a couple more and see how they're doing. Alright, so here we are, these two. Once again, I want to apologize if there's a bunch of wind noise. It's just crazy windy today. Haven't seen any pollen coming in this one yet. Let's go over here and check this one. I got a whole bunch of them over my shoulder. They're not wanting to land me here. I'm going to have to move positions or something. There they come. I didn't notice any of those that had pollen on them either. Once again, every colony that is going to be on this video is the same way. None of these have been touched since July. Third week of July was the last time any of these colonies have had a human do anything to them. And that was just me pulling the last little bit of honey that I could before my surgery. So we've got, I don't know, a few more to check, and then we'll figure out if we have any that we've lost so far. Single deep. Seen pollen on that one. See her bringing pollen in too. It's amazing how a bee can find resources when we can't see. When we look at trees and stuff, one thing we see is looks like dead sticks, but it's amazing how they can find resources. This colony I actually looked at the other day. I thought this one was dead. I thought this colony was a goner, and I actually opened it up the other day just to see if there was any honey left that I could pull. And man, when I popped the top, I was amazed how many bees were in there between the frames. So that was a good surprise the other day. Walk up here. We're just about done. Just about done. Flip this around. Oh, I know all these are good because they were out yesterday too. Single deep, just a nuke. I was wondering about this one yesterday because there wasn't very many flying, and I stuck my stethoscope in there and they came to life. So that's another nuke that has so far overwintered. So I believe, as of right now, the only colony that has been lost is the ones that was in this box. Actually, I came home from having back surgery. It was my first time walking outside after that, just a couple days. My wife and I walked out to the backyard, and there was a little ball of bees hanging on this branch. And like I say, I just got done having back surgery. I couldn't do nothing. So my wife ran, got me the box, put everything underneath there, and all I did is just shook the branch, knocked them in there. No frames or nothing. So I didn't know what they would do, and they just built. I figured I'd sort it out in the spring, but it was a small swarm, very small. So that's all they got done. They built that honeycomb on the inner cover, but you can see they just didn't have the size or the resources to make it through a winter. So as of right now, that is the only colony that didn't make it through. So I think that's pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with that. And like I say, I know I talked a lot about not treating them, not feeding them. I am not opposed to any of that. I just kept on losing bees no matter what I was doing, and finally one year, by accident, I was just so busy with the job that I had that I finally I didn't have time, and my bees went untreated that year, and it was the best survival rate that I had over winter since I started beekeeping. So I'm like, we're going to try that again next year, and the next year was it was even better. And I've just continued that path now, and knock on wood, I've had great success with not treating them. So like I said, it's only February, and between February and April, it can be pretty devastating to some beekeepers, especially in our area, depending on the weather. A lot of things start blooming early. Then we get a couple hard freezes, and it will set them back. But like I say, when it gets to go back to the treatment part, I know I keep on bringing that up. It's because I don't think it's not talked about a lot, and I know there's a lot of guys not treating, but they don't talk about it because they get hammered on so much by everybody who does. And like I say, I have said it from the get-go. I have nothing against those who treat. I have nothing against treating bees. It wasn't working for me. It was a waste of my time, waste of my money, and I have had much better success with my bees since I quit treating. I still feed emergency if I need to, but as you've seen, I didn't have any feeders on. These bees have not been touched since July. That's not to say that I won't put some emergency feed on some of them if they need it before April. It just all depends. But right now they look good. They're very active. Obviously I have a couple colonies that were weaker than others, which you're going to have that no matter what. But yeah, man, don't be don't be afraid to experiment with different ways of beekeeping. I was sold on that I'm going to have to feed, treat all the time, and I mean I was set on it. And I would tell other beekeepers, man, you're screwing up by not doing this, doing that, and all along, man, I just didn't have my eyes open to going non-treatment. But once I tried it, I completely understand where a lot of those guys are coming from now. But like I say, I mean, I run my bees the way I want to run my bees, and I think everybody should do that. And I don't think people should be hammering on others just because they decide to manage their bees in other ways than the big guys, the big YouTubers say that you have to. Play around with your bees. Try different things. Don't just go by what some people are saying. Try different things. I mean, I've had great success doing different things, and I've lost bees by trying different things. But that's just how you learn how to do it, and you find your way in the beekeeping world. But as you can see, I had just that one dead, and if you go back to some of my videos, I think I have a video of how small that swarm was after my surgery. It was very small. So as of now, February 9th, my colonies look good to me, and I'm not planning on doing anything to them as they are right now. So stay tuned for updates if you want to see more about how many actually make it through into spring, and if I have to put any feed on any of them. So go out, check your bees, enjoy it, have a good day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.